Let's simplify this expression and write the answer without using negative exponents. To simplify a problem like this one, the first thing we need to focus on is removing these parentheses. But if we look, we can see that everything inside the parentheses is being raised to a power. So we need to address that first. If we look, we can see that everything inside both of the parentheses is being multiplied. That means that we can use the power of a product rule to distribute those exponents into the parentheses. So let's do that first. Here we have 2x being raised to the third power. Well, that's the same thing as saying 2 to the third times x to the third. Then we rewrite everything else that's in the numerator. Now we do the same thing with the parentheses that's in the denominator. Here we take this 2 and write it above each one of these. We have y squared, and when we get to z, z is being raised to the negative second power. And then we're raising that to the second power. Well, here we can use the power of a power rule in order to write it like this. Take those exponents and multiply them together. Negative 2 times 2. Now let's simplify this a bit. If we take 2 to the third, that's the same as 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8. Then again, we rewrite everything else in the numerator. In the denominator, we look at z. In the exponent, we want to take negative 2 times 2. That gives us negative 4. So we have z to the negative fourth power. Great! Now look in the numerator and the denominator. We can see that we have similar variables in the numerator and the denominator. So here, let's continue simplifying this expression by breaking those up into individual fractions. So take a look at our numbers first. 8 and 16. We can write that as 8 over 16. Then we want to do the same thing with the variables. Here we have an x in the numerator and an x in the denominator. We can write this as x to the third over x to the seventh. Now the y's. We have y to the negative sixth over y squared. And finally the z's. We have z to the fifth over z to the negative fourth. Great! Now we need to simplify each of these individual fractions. Well, simplifying 8 over 16 isn't so bad. We reduce this fraction and we get 1/2. Now here, notice, we have an x to the third over x to the seventh. We have the same base, an x. That means that we can use the quotient of powers rule to rewrite this. We can subtract those exponents, taking 3 minus 7. Great! Now we do the same thing for y. We have negative 6 minus 2. And then z, we have 5 minus a negative 4. Now we need to simplify each of those exponents. We rewrite our 1/2, and here 3 minus 7 is negative 4. Negative 6 minus 2 is negative 8, and 5 minus a negative 4 is the same as 5 plus 4, which is 9. And now everything has been simplified. But remember, we want to rewrite our answer without using negative exponents. And right now, we have 2 negative exponents. So, in step number 3, we need to make sure to rewrite our answer without using negative exponents. To change these exponents from negative to positive, we need to move them to the denominator of our fraction. So here, z to the ninth will stay in the numerator. In the denominator, multiplying by 1/2 is the same as dividing by 2. So we can put 2 in the denominator. Then we bring x to the negative fourth to the denominator and change the sign of that exponent. And we do the same thing with y. And now we have our final simplified answer. And we can see we do not have any negative exponents. In this problem, we took our original expression and simplified it, then rewrote the answer to write it without negative exponents.